Hello and welcome to Ray's Reality and Podcast. And I'd like to welcome you. And I would like to tell you that I always try to figure out what I'm going to do a show on and how I'm going to do it and what I'm going to do. And every day is different. So every time I get on here, I try to figure out what I'm going to do and what I'm going to talk about. I got a million things I can talk about and a million things I want to do. And but we just fly by the seat of our pants. I know what I'm going to do today, actually, for a podcast. So we're going to talk about podcasting. I don't even have that in my book of stuff to talk about, but I'm going to, considering this is only like my third, fourth podcast. But I always look at different things. I'm going to be looking down here because it's just me. I am the podcaster, the editor. I am the music man. I like that cheesy music that I put at the beginning. So all the stuff that happens here, everything that happens, when I say something cool and you hear the audience in the background, yeah, that's a cue for all the people. You don't see them sitting over there. We have a huge crowd of people. But if you ever notice too, when I cue them to clap and stuff, they always saw the same. And you know how I cut them off real quick? Yeah, they know. They're trained audience. Anyways, I'm looking at my phone here, my handy dandy phone. I'm looking at it. I'm gonna, I don't know if you can see that good. I just want to get it out there and check it out. I'm covering up the name. I'd like to have the name on the back of my phone. I'm an HTC fan. That's right, I said it. I love the HTCs. Best phone, I think, in the absolute world. They're awesome. I don't care about what the company does and believes in and all that stuff, but I don't know what their beliefs are, but other companies I do, so I kind of like shed and shy away from it. But I know the HTC has been an absolutely wonderful, awesome phone. I love the camera. I love everything about it. They're not paying me to do this, by the way. I'm just letting you know that that's my phone of choice, and that's what I like. So I'm looking at current events today on here. That one's political. I don't even want to go political. There's so much political podcasts out there right now I'm sick of politics. Hey, let's talk politics for a second. I'm sick of politics. I'm sick of the way it is. I think they should outlaw half the stuff that they do. I think that the whole presidency coming up for the next year, all we're going to hear is a bunch of idiots bad-mouthing one another. That's all we're going to hear. I don't care about what Trump did when he was 21 years old. I don't care what that other dude did, Joe, when he was 21 years old. What are they doing now? What are they doing for America right this second? Right now, neither one of them are doing nothing except acting like a bunch of ignorant idiots. I think at the last election there, I think when Trump went against Joe, I think if Trump would have just stood there and kept his mouth shut and never said a word, he probably would have won without a problem. But he ended up opening his mouth and acting like a 16-year-old schoolgirl. Sorry, 16-year-old schoolgirls, but yeah, look at me, I'm on a Twitter. Oh, you're so stupid. I'm so sick of it. And it should be outlawed that they have to spend billions and billions of dollars campaigning. All that money wasted on campaigns. We both know we got Joe Biden and we have Donald Trump. That's our choices. Pick one, okay? So before you pick one, make sure you find out what the candidate wants and he's planning on doing, and stop listening to all the ignorance and the lies of the news people and all this that they take and they put their personal touch in it. My personal touch is I'm not voting for Joe Biden. Okay, period. I'm anybody in that. All those people need to be removed. They need to be arrested. They need to be in prison. But oh yeah, I forgot. Joe Biden, he's not fit to stand trial. Trump is. So, and he's also fit and able to, and in the right mind to, run for president. But yeah, and they tried for 3 years, wasting millions of our money, millions of dollars trying to prosecute him. Finally, they finally paid off enough people to convict him. Thank you. That finally they should have just done that to begin with, and be done with it. Anyways, I'm done with my political crap. Rarely seen rattlesnake found in Ohio. It's right there online. I'm just looking at it right now. That's they do have rattlesnakes in Ohio. They have them in Indiana. They have them in Kentucky, Michigan. They're depending on what type of rattlesnake it is, but there is rattlesnakes up there. They don't not as seen as often as you would think, but they are up there. So yeah, I am going to tell you that. I'm glad that Will Smith and Martin Lawrence, they decided to make a new Bad Boys movie. That's wonderful and great. Be great if you could make one that wasn't so harsh and more family friendly, without the cussing and swearing. But I'm wondering. That's great. They're trying to blow it out of the water because of Will Smith and what happened a few years ago. I think we're all over that. We're past it. Who cares? I don't agree with what he did. He was having a bad day. He slapped, the crap out of somebody, but yeah, when that happened, everybody thought it was a gimmick anyways. It was, played because of what happened. Chris Rock took that hit like nobody else would have. But yeah, so anyways, I'm not going to get on all that, but I just did. So yeah, but yeah, I mean, seriously, you can stop talking about it and stop trying to hype them up, man. We're not, tons of people are going to see the movie regardless of what happened 2 years ago. Just like tons of people are going to vote for Trump no matter what he did when he was 21 years old and because he said something out of line 21 years ago. Seriously, man. Yeah. Oh man, Hunter Biden's ex-wife Kathleen Bill testifies about his drug use in federal gun trial. Does she have to testify? Do we all not know that Hunter Biden is a cokehead and messed up on drugs and he's hello. All right, thanks for wasting our time on that one too. So much of this, I'm going through all this stuff, and it's just the ignorance of the new stuff that I see. It's like the new cars, and they're electric, and how great they're going to be and awesome, and how are we going to plug them in because we don't have enough electric, and blah 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 blah. Here's an idea. Hey Tesla, make a V8 Tesla. I'll buy it all day long. Let it be able to drive from here in Florida to New York and over to Seattle, Washington, and down into California and back to Florida again without ever charging it. I'll buy your car. And if you could like make one like with the 502 cubic inch big block in it, Chevy big block, fuel injected, I'd be all over that Tesla. So yeah, there you have it. I am happy to see that Lamborghini said that they were not going to make any more gas engines, and now they just released their new gas engine, V10. Yeah, thanks Lamborghini. You know where you're going. You know what's going on there, Lamborghini. So hold on, wait a minute. Bugatti will reveal its V16 powered Chiron successor on June 20th. Thank you Bugatti for making a V16. Sweet. I'll have to look into buying one of those. Never in my lifetime. Hey, if you're a multi-billionaire and you'd like to buy me one, I'd love to take it. But be honest with you, I'd rather have a house first. But hey, because I am in my mobile house right now. We live in full-time in a travel trailer, and that's where I'm recording from live right now. We're live in Oldsmar, Florida. Technically, we're in Hillsborough County, Tampa. I'm right on the line. I mean, I can throw a stick over there and hit Oldsmar, right up the street from the Oldsmar Flea Market. Not a bad place to go. I recommend Nick's Knives if you go there. Real nice guys. He's got some really cool stuff there. Top of line knives. I'm a knife guy. I like knives. So yeah, and he's not asking me to do that. I'm just putting it out there because I like him. I go visit him whenever time I can. I visit him a lot more now that we're so close to him. So there's I forget the name of the fishing place over there as well, right there in the Oldsmar Flea Market. But little cool little spot there. Got a lot of fishing stuff. Also, I'm gonna throw it out there too because there's a little hardware place right there in the Oldsmar Flea Market, located in Oldsmar, Florida, off of Hillsborough Avenue. But the right on the main, right down the middle of the flea market on the main stretch there, towards the middle, towards the back on the right-hand side, is a little, like I said, place like a hardware type store. That guy has got some really awesome prices on his stuff. I mean, I was in there, oh my gosh, I got literally spent $30 and I got probably $150 worth of stuff if I would have bought it anywhere else. And it's the same stuff that I would have bought at any other hardware store. Nice stuff. I mean, good stuff. That's how this is hanging up there. Thanks to him. I forgot his name, but yeah, so just letting you know that he's there. But yeah, once again on my phone, the most successful models in Chevrolet history, from Camaro to Silverado. I'm a GM guy. I like my Chevys. I like my GMs. So yeah, I'll talk. You know what? I'm gonna bring that up right quick right now, because I just saw a thing online, and you know, I'm looking on this stuff, and it's not even worth. Nothing's even worth today in the news to even look at. You know, I like what you're doing, DeSantis. I'm a DeSantis fan. I think I'm going to vote for him this year. The heck with anybody else. I'm voting for president. I'm a write-in Ron DeSantis. Boy, how many people did I just upset by saying that? Oh my gosh. You're going to vote for him is a vote for Joe Biden. Is it really? I don't know. I don't think so. I think there's going to be like, I don't know, 5 people that vote for Joe Biden, and I think I know all 5 of those idiots. But anyways, sorry, it is what it is. Seriously, I mean seriously, I will say this real quick: a vote for Joe Biden, that's like an American voting for Joe Biden is like, or voting Democrat. Period. That's like a chicken voting for Colonel Sanders. Think about that, because that's exactly what you're doing. Anyways, it's not my politics. This is my only politics thing that's going on right now. Anyways, I forgot what I was going to talk about, but I was going to say the Ford truck. I was talking about, different things, and I just saw a thing online. Somebody put that about a Ford F-150. Like I said, I am a Chevy guy. I love my Chevys. I drive a Chevy Silverado 1500. I pull a 35-foot trailer with that Silverado all over the country. Doesn't have a problem. We do it, getting like 15 miles a gallon, which is awesome. But somebody just posted a Ford F-150. I'm going to guess that it had the V8 in it, and it was pulling a fifth wheel. Had the fifth wheel hitch and everything in it. And I had 70 comments at the time, and I was reading the comments about the Ford F-150 pulling this here fifth wheel. Now, I know lots of people out there that are car guys, period, will be like, oh. Anyways, everybody commenting were actually RB people on this here particular thing. If I had a picture of it, I would show it to you, but I do not have a picture of it. But you can imagine a Ford F-150 pulling a fifth wheel. Okay, sure, you can get it. It's all in your brain. So imagine that, and everybody's like, oh my gosh, I can't believe this guy. He's insane. It's a death trap, blah, 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 blah. A couple years ago, I was at the dealership, and I had my other Silverado backed up, to a fifth wheel. I was actually just checking the lights on it, but the funny part was the salesman came out and said, oh, I'd like to see you try to do that. And I said, do what? And he goes, pull that fifth wheel. And I said, let's hook it up. I said, I'll do it. And he goes, I got $1,000 that says you don't. I have $1,500 that says I will. I got $5,000 that says I can pull this with no problems, because my truck was able to pull it. And I'm going to tell you real quick, the big difference between the F-150 and the F-250, just like the Silverado 1500 and the Silverado 2500 and the 3500 and and the Ford F-350. So just like Ford and Chevy, I'm gonna use those two, but the Ford F-150 and then the F-250, the difference is basically bigger brakes. You got bigger brakes on the F-250, and suspension might be a little bit better on the F-250, and then you bump up to the F-350, and then of course you get bigger brakes and you get better suspension. Basically, that's what you're getting. That's the difference. Just like the Silverado 15 to 2500, bigger brakes, bigger suspension. They're both 6-lug. I think I think you bump up to the 8-lug with the 350, or 3500. So, but the people who talk about these things, and I see, like I said, I'm not a Ford guy, but kudos to that guy with the Ford F-150 that was showing everybody, look, it is possible, it can be done, and it will stop. I mean, in a panic situation, if you're driving down the expressway at 70 miles an hour and everybody locks up the brakes, no matter what you're pulling it with, you better hope and pray that the trailer brakes are going to work, because that's what's going to help stop you. If your trailer brakes are working, this guy's not driving down the street with no trailer brakes. At least I would hope not. I did it because my brakes weren't working on our with our combination when we first got it here. But it was a GM problem, not a RV problem, which was kind of crazy. But so anyways, but yeah, it's not like a big deal. It's like, it is what it is. It can do it. What's the towing capacity of F-150 and the 250? What's the towing capacity? Yeah, you can get bigger brakes and all that. It'll do it. Now, is it a 53-foot trailer that he's pulling? Gonna have some issues. It wasn't a huge fifth wheel. They make some small, tiny little fifth wheels. I seen a fifth wheel. It was 17-foot long fifth wheel. I was like, that is nuts. It's crazy. But a little teeny tiny thing. An S10 pickup truck would tow that. A Ford Ranger would pull that. So, speaking of that, right over here in Largo, Florida, I don't remember the RV place there. They sell used RVs. I don't think they sell anything new, but they sell all used RVs. Their lot truck that pulls everything around their lot, all of their travel trailers and all of their fifth wheels, is a 1986, I think it is, Chevy pickup truck. It's got a fifth wheel hitch in it, and it will pull anything on that lot with no problems. I was over there seeing it for myself. It's cool, but yeah, they got a Chevy S10, about an 86 Chevy S10. That's their lot truck that they pull everything around with. So anyways, that's a bunch of spew that I put in together. But today, what I was wanting to talk about, I was trying to figure out what should I do for a podcast today, and it's always going to be different. I'm going to talk about different things, and everybody's telling me that's a horrible idea. So today's podcast, I'm going to talk about, what I'm going to talk about is going to be podcasting. I'm going to talk about my venture into podcasting, and we're going to talk about it all and check it all out, and I'm going to describe things to you. So, with all that being said, welcome to Ray's Reality. This is my reality podcast show, Ray's Reality. You like that? So anyways, what made me decide to talk about podcasting today is because I've spent the last hour and a half trying to set my stuff up. So setting stuff up sometimes can be the biggest problem. I do not have a podcast studio. I actually have to set everything up each time I do a podcast because I got to tear everything down, break it down, I have a beautiful little I don't know, Armor, I don't know what you want to call this thing that I use to put my equipment in, but it works out really well. Excuse me a second. So anyways, I decided a few months ago, trying to figure out what to do. I do a lot of stuff. I've done a lot of stuff in my life. I'm an ASE certified mechanic. I'm a certified RV tech. I'm a certified RV inspector. I've been a firefighter. Worked for the government. I've done all kinds of stuff. My son Ben wants me to do a podcast on all of the jobs I've had. He said, Dad, sit down, write down all the jobs you had. A lot of people frown upon that. I have a lot of experiences dealing with a lot of people from a lot of different areas and aspects of this world and life that we live in. So I've done a whole lot of stuff. So my newest venture, away from everything, and because we're traveling, what we're doing is podcasts. I like to talk. That's probably my favorite thing to do. I've done stand-up comedy. I've been at a couple different places. I've done private parties. Last place I did stand-up was the hardest place in the country, I think, to do stand-up, and that's Go Bananas Comedy Club in Cincinnati, Ohio. My gosh, those people in Cincinnati, sorry Cincinnati, but you don't laugh. I don't know what you think is funny and what's not funny, but it's hard to deal with when you go there. I've several comedians that I know that have been there, was just like, oh my gosh. Every comedian will tell you that Go Bananas is the hardest place to go, because it's like, I gotta tell you, this is what you hear when you're at Go Bananas Comedy Club in Cincinnati, Ohio, and you just tell a funny joke. You just went over a whole skit, whatever you just did. This is mainly what you hear. That is it. That's what you hear when you're there. It's kind of crazy. But anyways, that's a whole new different story there. Podcasting, getting into podcasting. I almost said, like I said, podcasting. So I decided to do podcasting, and I said, what do I want to do? People are like, well, what are you going to have a podcast about? What are you going to do? What's it going to be about? There's so many podcasts out there about politics. There's fashion. I could go on. There's different ones, but I know more podcasts about stupid politics than I know. Do we really need another podcast on, or a show or anything on politics? Don't we get enough of those idiots anyways on a daily basis? One of the best things I ever did 2 years ago, over about 2.5, maybe even 3 years ago now. I think it's been 3 years ago now. One of the best things we ever did is we shut off our cable. We got rid of all that stuff, and all we have the internet service, and all we do is live stream what we want to watch when we want to watch it now. We have not watched the news. I just was looking at it today. I go through and I look at the stuff on my phone every now and then, I just look at what they're saying. I don't go in and look at it because it's all stupid. I almost, it's something I do every once in a while, but I don't watch the news. It's I'm just like, it's hard. I just can't get it. I'm sick of hearing about the politics and all that. So do we need that again? No, we don't need no more things on politics. There's all kinds of shows, but here, what I'm doing, they tell me I can't do it. It can't be done. It's like, well, I understand things, but I talk about a little bit of everything. My show is based on life in general. I'm going to talk about it all. My first podcast that I did kind of went over a few things. When I'm going to talk about it all. So when I decided to do a podcast, what am I going to do a podcast on? What are you going to do a podcast about, Ray? What's your podcast based on? Everything. Everybody has told me that's not going to work. You can't do it. Nobody wants to hear about everything. Nobody here wants to hear about something different every day. They want to hear the same crap day in and day out. Really? Is that what you really, really want? I'm like today, I have over 100 different things in this book for podcasts, and to the one right now, I'm not doing a single one of them. Not one of them are in here that I got written down. It's talking about podcasting. So it's a difficult move for me. I went in and I started watching podcasts about different people. Everybody's got their own little twist on it. I'd love to have a beautiful setting here and be able to have all kinds of stuff. And I do have a beautiful background behind me, this backdrop. There's the canal runs through here. I'm sitting right on the water. There's trees, there's birds, ducks, and all kinds of stuff out there. The ducks I find quite amusing because, the pond across the street over here is dried up. So the ducks have been coming over here in the salt water, which it's almost brackish, but not quite. It's more salt. I've been catching nothing but saltwater fish out there, so I'm going to say it's all saltwater. And the ducks are kind of weird about it. But anyways, beautiful background. I wish I could have that, but the lighting does not work for me at all. So that's part of doing a podcast. Getting the perfect lighting to try to make myself look good, and then, you have to bring everything together. Like today's podcast, for whatever reason, I'm going to mess up your entire podcast experience right now, because this particular podcast is off by like a second. So the words that are coming out of my mouth are not matching up perfectly with what is going on. I have tried everything to try to fix that and correct it. And when I tried, and right now somebody just said, you didn't try everything, because if you tried everything, it'd be working right. I did try everything I know to try. So, like I said, I'm doing it all myself. I have all my equipment down here. All you see is my microphone right here. I got my laptop, I got my computer, I got my phone, I got all my stuff sitting here. My lighting's all set up. I got it all. And all that, I'm doing it all by myself. So when you're doing this and doing a podcast, like I said, I did a lot of research. I checked it out, and I don't know exactly what came to me. I think God was like, "Hey, Ray, do a podcast. Put it out there. That's what you need to do, because you like to talk, and that's what you're good at." Recently, in the last few weeks at church, my pastor's been putting stuff in my head. It's Steve Kreloff's fault. He says he's been talking about, do what you're good at. Do what you need to do. What you're good at. God has given you a gift. Do it. Do it. Do it. It's just, you got to don't sit around. Don't do it. Just don't sit there. So I'm blaming my podcast on Steve Kreloff, pastor there. Not really. It's nothing. Nobody to blame. But so I ran with it. I was like, you know what? Maybe it's a podcast. I don't know. It's a little bug got put in my head. I was listening to a guy that I do not like in any way, shape, or form. I just happened to turn him on. I'm not going to mention his name, but I do not agree with his YouTube videos in any way, shape, or form, or I don't agree with most of what he does, and I don't agree with, period. I mean, across the board, I'm not all that stuff that he does, and just the ignorance behind it. But anyways, I actually was listening to a podcast he did, and I'm like, you know what? That's the only time I ever listened to him. Makes sense. But I think it wasn't a bunch of ignorant people around him. It was just him by himself doing a podcast. And I'm like, I could listen to him if this was he was about all the time, but he's usually about pure ignorance. And a lot of kids watch him and stuff like that, and they shouldn't be. There's a lot of people shouldn't be listening to a lot of stuff. But anyways, so just with everything in general, podcasting, getting started is the hard part. I have some of the best equipment. I'm not using $10,000 microphone stuff like that, but I will tell you, I'm using. I went out and, like I said, all this has been a godsend to me, as I'll call it. Maybe that's not the right words, but my microphones, I actually went in to buy these microphones, and my equipment, when I went in to buy it, I was amazed because first off, I was in sticker shock. I was like, the prices of everything, with the Rode and oh my gosh, I'm gonna forget the name of my microphone here. I can't. I'll figure it out later. But anyways, it's not important. But it's top of the line microphone. I got top of the line everything. The cool part is when I decided to do the podcast, and I felt, this is what I have to do. This is what I need to do. It's what, God's calling me to do, a podcast. So that's what I decided. I'm going to go out there and do it. I'm not going to preach every single time. I'm talking about all kinds of stuff all the time, all kinds of different subjects. Right now we're talking about podcasting. So my Rodecaster Duo that I bought, I could have got the bigger one, but I didn't. I didn't want to start. I could have started large, but what can I afford? What could I not afford? So I went with the smaller one. I actually, I didn't even pay full price for that. The guys there at Guitar Center, when I went there, the guy, the manager, I don't remember exactly what he hooked me up. He gave me a discount, he gave me a 20% discount, which was an awesome guy to do that, there in Clearwater, Florida. And then I was going to buy my microphones there, but the prices of them, I was like, man, I was looking at, it was going to cost me thousands of dollars to get all this equipment. Well, lucky for me, Sam Ash over here where we they're going out of business. So I went there and they had top of line microphones I got a $500 microphone for $100. It was $150, for the same microphone that they had at the other place. I was like, holy cow, man. So I literally bought, I saved a ton of money getting my equipment because it's not cheap. The wires themselves, oh my gosh, just the microphone wire, one of those cost you $60. I only paid 10 because they were the Sam Ash going out of business. Wow. So I bought a whole bunch of extra stuff just because I was like, well, if I actually need it, I'm gonna have it. So I made sure I had the equipment I needed, and it was inexpensive. So, but even though I have the best equipment that I could buy, I've been looking at other podcasters. I'm talking top-notch podcasters. I don't know what they're all, but a lot of people I know that are doing podcasts, they got the same exact equipment I do. They're using the same good stuff. I'm using, I'm not using my camera on my computer because it stinks. I'm actually using my Canon camera, which has come out. But here's the thing that I'm going to screw you up with, and I sorry, I go back and forth. My camera today is not matching up with my mouth, and that bugs me. And I've tried everything to fix that. So, but you run into these problems. These are problems you run into when it's just you. I don't have everything. I'm still learning everything because I am not a computer person. When it comes to computers, I'm not even so much. I hook them up to automobiles, and I can run them through that, and I know how to run my computers through that. And then, of course, when I'm doing inspection stuff like that, when I was doing it all, I had to use computers for all that type stuff. But this is a completely different ball game. Editing and all that type of things. There's some editing involved. I'm not doing a whole lot of editing right now, but when I'm adding stuff in, and you're doing your fun stuff, and you're adding, it's all learning curve. It's all learning things you have to do. It's like you're getting in there, and this is the look you get. It's like, oh my gosh, what am I doing? This is crazy. So if you look at that picture, you'll see that the three of us, my wife and my daughter and me, we're calm. My son's like, what the heck? But yeah, so that's all editing and stuff that you have to do. Some people don't do any of that. I know a particular guy, he just throws it out there, just makes a video. He's a YouTuber, and he's a well known, and he doesn't do anything special. He just throws it out there. That's, I don't exactly know what his full-time deal is or what he does, but I think he's a full-time YouTuber. But yeah, so it's like when you're doing all this stuff, it's like, well, this is wonderful, this is awesome. So, there's all kinds of different things to get into. There's different types of shows that you can do. And like I said, it's picking what you want to do, picking and choosing. So I picked to do everything. Are they going to be perfect? No. Am I Mr. Professional? No. Will I ever be? I don't. I'm going to get better as I go along. But it's more about me talking and enjoying what I'm doing and putting this out there and having fun with it, because I really enjoy this. This is fun. I've been messing around with all this stuff. I got oh my gosh, this is stupid. What's that supposed to do? I just think that's the dumbest thing in the world. So, but you got all kinds of weird stuff. I forget to, it's like you get, let me, you do something stupid and it doesn't work out, and yeah, see? So you have all these fun stuff that you can play with, and it gets fun. You can do a lot of fun stuff, and sometimes I can bring special guests on and I can blur them out, and then I can have them talk like this.
Hi, I'm disguising my voice because I did something really, really bad, so now I have to do this because nobody can see me or hear my voice correctly.
Forget that. So, anyways, I'm having fun with podcasting. There's a lot of podcasts out there, tons of podcasts out there, tons and tons and tons. And they all have something different they do. And for example, like I said, I got podcast. I'll probably just tell a story one day, and it might be goofy. I'll have different voices. You never know. I might just act like need a megaphone and start yelling in the megaphone. And I could have, there's all kinds of fun stuff. But that's, like I said, having fun with the podcasts and doing all this type of stuff is really fun for me. I'm enjoying it so far. The thing I'm not enjoying is setting all this crap up, getting it all together, trying to make it right. That's the hard part, trying to get a podcast together. And I want everything to be perfect. I want it to be the perfect little podcast. But it's not. It's not going to be perfect. I'm going to try and do my best. But for now, this is what you get. You get what I have, and you get to enjoy this. So I hope you do enjoy it. And I'm going to be doing more podcasts. I'm going to try to get them out once a week, 2-3 a week, maybe once a day. Yeah, that's not going to happen, but I'm going to try at least 1 or 2 a week. When I do record, I'll try to do a couple at a time. So anyways, not that it matters. I do hope I get a following. I do hope you enjoy it. And I hope that I talk about stuff you'd like to hear about. And I'd also like to say that, man, if you got something you'd like to hear about, and I do, I know a lot about a lot of stuff. I'm not Mr. Brainiac or anything, but if I don't know it, I look it up. I have Google. I Google stuff. I don't use that other one, though, because I can't even say, some of them, they some of these things that you look stuff up, you really got to watch. It's like the A word. I don't want to say her name right now. But if you ask her, like, stuff, the answers she gives you are not always right. They're wrong. So that's one thing when I'm looking stuff up, like you have something you want me to talk about, I try to go to a source. If I don't know a lot about it, I will go to a source that is a right source. It's like if I'm doing something medical, I'm going to look at like the Mayo Clinic, the Cleveland Clinic. I'm going to places that I know have the right answers. So that's what I'm going to look at. I even get out there and I talk to doctors. I go, if it's something like said medical, I'm going to go and talk to the doctors. Matter of fact, I'm having surgery this Friday, and I'd love to get the doctor that's doing my surgery in on a podcast on a special podcast that nobody wants to talk about. But I will, because that's what I'm here for. I'm going to talk about stuff that nobody wants to talk about, or maybe somebody didn't think about talking about it. And my whole ordeal and idea is to make it a reality check. Hence the name Ray's Reality. So that's the reason I am here to, do this, is because it's a reality check. Ray's Reality. So that's what I'm here for. And I really hope you stick with me, and I hope you enjoy my podcasts. And like I said, this one I just want to talk about podcasting a little bit and let you know it's not all rainbows and cupcakes. You have problems, you have issues, behind the scenes stuff sucks. It really does. There's so much to go on, so much to do, and then your mouth don't match up, and that really, really stinks, because you're like, why won't my mouth match up? I've thrown the camera across the room and back. Wait, that's probably the problem. I broke my camera. Not really. I don't know what's going on. So maybe it has to do something with this dog sitting next to me. Can you see my dog? No, you can't. She's laying here all peacefully, being quiet the whole time, no barking, laying on my lap. So she's doing good. She was sitting up here behind me, but she moved. So she's hopping and popping. Anyways, that's going to be it for this time. This is probably a boring thing to talk about, but I don't care. I did it anyways. Talked a little bit about everything. But anyways, I have to just say thanks for watching, and I appreciate it. And I will be getting better and better at what I do.